Hi loves, happy Tuesday. I hope that you guys are doing well. Today's Start Tuesday, and for today I wanted to go into the 7 types of negativity to kill. So the 7 that we have here are perfectionism, judgment over yourself and others, self-doubt, assuming the worst will happen, worry, complaining, and trying to control everything. So I'm going to be going into each one. We're going to find out the causes as well as some tips on how to overcome each one. So if you're interested, let's get into it. Alright, so I found this list on Pinterest. I love Pinterest because I find so many different beneficial things on there that I save into this one board. So if you are on Pinterest or you have a Pinterest, definitely follow me because I'm going to make this board public. It's private right now, but I'm going to make it public because it's actually really helpful. So on this list, first up is perfectionism. Now, perfectionism is literally like one of the things that most people fall into because it's hard. You want things a certain way, and when you see a vision for yourself or for something that you're trying to do and you're getting involved in, you want it to have that same outcome and output. So this says trying to achieve something that's literally unattainable will only result in you feeling less than. And I do agree with this because, in all honesty, when you do have a vision for something and you see something going a certain way just for it to fall short of what you truly envisioned it to be, it does tamper with your self-esteem. It does make you feel like you're not good enough. It does kind of make you doubtful about not only your capabilities, but about whatever the project is itself. And it's very hard not to fall into that. Now, at the end of the day, things aren't always going to go well, and that's just something that we have to come to terms with. It's just reality. Another thing that kind of sucks about being a perfectionist is that when you do see that your desired outcome didn't come to fruition, it kind of can cause you to want to give up. And sometimes things don't always go right on the first try. It takes a couple of tries for you to really get the proper formula and for you to really see what's gonna get you to that desired outcome. Alright, so for number 2, we have judgment over yourself and others. And this says when you're judgmental, you're only focusing on the negative qualities in yourself and others. And this one is actually one of my biggest pet peeves because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. We all have flaws. We all have qualities about ourselves that aren't as pretty as other qualities. So there's really no reason and no room for anybody to be judging anybody. And even with yourself, you cannot speak like that to yourself. You cannot think like that about yourself. Your self-concept is extremely important. The way that you see yourself projects onto other people. So when you do have a negative self-concept and you think negative about yourself, it causes your outer reality to reflect that. You're not going to feel as confident. You're going to doubt yourself. And when it comes to judging others, in all honesty, most of the time it's a projection of what you think about yourself. If you are looking at somebody or you see something in somebody and you're talking about that person or you're judging that person, 9 times out of 10, there's something within you that you can kind of relate to when it comes to that person and you're projecting onto them. So that's when you have to really take a step back and ask yourself like, maybe there's something about me that I don't necessarily like. Maybe there's something about me that I need to heal and I need to work on and work through. And so when it comes to judging ourselves, we're usually our own biggest critic. And one tip that I want to give you to really help with your self-concept is to do affirmations. So I personally, ever since I started doing affirmations, it's changed my self-concept 100%. I used to be very hard on myself. I would talk negatively to myself. I would make certain comments about myself. And I just did not feel confident. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. And that really reflected in my reality and everything that I was attracting. So I would definitely recommend to repeat affirmations to yourself, especially in the morning. Before you do anything else, sit down, speak affirmations to yourself. I like to meditate, that helps. And also I would recommend subliminals too. Subliminals work really well. Alright, so for number 3, we have self-doubt. This says self-doubt is a weed that will take over your life if you don't kill it at the root. Doubting yourself is literally the worst thing that you can do because when you doubt yourself, you do not perform at your best because you don't even believe in what's possible for you to do. That's going to stop you from achieving anything that you want to achieve and from doing anything that you want to do and really putting yourself out there and putting forth the effort to work towards the things that you want. There can be multiple reasons as to why you have self-doubt, and that's something that may stem from trauma. Maybe when you were younger, people kind of made you feel like you weren't good enough, or made you feel like you weren't capable, made you feel like everything that you did wasn't enough. And it can come from relationships as well. So say that you were in a relationship that was emotionally abusive, that can cause you to really doubt yourself and to really dim your light as well. So you have to really get to the root, because depending on what your situation is, your self-doubt can stem from so many different things, and until you get to the root of what's causing it, it's going to be really hard for you to overcome it. Okay, so next, for number 4, we have assuming that the worst will happen. This says if you never think things will be better, they won't be. This removes hope. Okay, so I would say that I used to be a bit of a pessimistic person, and I would think a bit negatively about certain things and certain outcomes because I have really high anxiety. So for the most part, I, think about the worst case scenario, and that's, what would ruminate in my mind. But it was until I realized that a lot of the things that were happening in my reality were because of the things that I was constantly thinking about. And your mind is very powerful, so you have to really be careful about what you think about, especially constantly, because you control the narrative, you control your reality. And not only that, but a lot of things that we think about and that we worry about don't ever actually happen. And it's very hard at times, because trust me, it's hard for me as well, which is why I got into meditation, because at that point I can clear my mind, I can center myself, and I can think about all of the things that I do want for myself. And that energy really does radiate. And not only that, but you will see a huge difference within your reality. Every time that I'm in a period of my life where I'm feeling low, or I'm just overthinking and I'm being negative, or I'm just not happy with my circumstances, and I start overthinking and I think about the worst things that could possibly happen, it just drives me further into that hole every single time. It's not until I actually put forth the effort to clear my mind and to think about the best possible outcomes, and to think about the things that I do want, and to speak positively about my life and the things that I desire, that I start to see a huge difference within my reality, and everything shifts in an instant. So a tip that I would give if you do tend to overthink or think very negatively, I would say to write everything down, write all of those thoughts and get it out of your mind. And I would recommend to do this first thing in the morning, because for me personally, the times in the day that I overthink the most are usually at night when I'm laying down before bed, and then in the morning when I wake up. Some of those thoughts just follow and carry into the morning. If you truly believe within yourself that things are not going to get better for you, they're not going to get better for you. If you believe that things will get better for you, it'll get better for you. It's all about your mindset and your perception. All right, so number 5, we have worry. Worrying changes nothing except your health and your mental state. So this kind of goes into anxiety as well, because like I said, I do have high anxiety, so I know exactly how it is to constantly be worrying and overthinking. So get into some practices that will help you to kind of ease your mind. So whatever it is for you, it's going to look different for everybody. Me personally, another thing that I like to do is to get out into nature. When you're in nature, honestly, it's really hard to think about anything, because it's just so serene. It just brings this calmness within your mind and your spirit and your body, and you're just kind of secluded from the world for a little bit. Me personally, I like to go to parks. I like to go to the beach, especially parks that have a lot of trees. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting out into nature. I would recommend journaling. I would recommend doing some form of meditation, getting into some hobbies that you can do that will help you to take your mind off of things and put you at more ease, especially if you have a busy lifestyle and you work a lot, or you just have a lot of things going on in your life that kind of stress you. I would highly recommend to set aside some time for self-care, and to also get into some hobbies, some things that can kind of take you away from all the things that's distracting you or bringing you that mental fog and frustration. All right, next one we have for number 6 is complaining. This says when you focus on the negative things, you are really setting yourself up for never being content or happy. I definitely agree with this one, because what you focus on does grow, and where your attention goes, energy flows. So if all you ever see is the negativity and negative things that are happening, you're only going to be focused on that, and that's what you're going to be consumed by. One major thing that can help to overcome this is practicing gratitude. So each day when I write in my journal, I have a gratitude list, and I write out all of the things that I'm grateful for. When you shift your focus on the good things and the things that you're happy about and the things that you're grateful for and the good that's going on in your life, it'll start to open up ways for you to start receiving more abundance and receiving more opportunities for you to experience the good. So take some time out each day and just write a list of all the things you're grateful for. I like to do this in the morning as well as a part of my morning routine. I'll do 5 to 10 things that I'm grateful for, or I'll just keep writing until I feel content. And that really helps me to shift my focus from all of the bad that's going on to focusing on the good. And despite what's going on within your reality, there's always something to be grateful for, even if it's just as simple as being alive, because a lot of people are not here with us anymore. And you still have a chance to create the life that you want while you're here, regardless of how bad your situation is. And I know how hard that can be as well. Sometimes it's easier said than done. And I do understand that, because when I was in a really dark place, especially when I was depressed, I was suicidal, it was hard for me to see anything good. And that's just the reality of it. So I do understand that. But just taking those little steps each day to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to see the positive in whatever your situation is going to really help you to overcome that. So last but not least, we have trying to control everything. You can't control everything, and when you try and inevitably fail, you will only blame yourself. This is a really important one, so I'm glad that we're saving the best for last, because this is something that I've learned along my journey as well. You really cannot control everything in life, and life is just so sporadic, it's so unpredictable. You never know what's gonna happen, even from the day that you wake up. You can create a whole plan for the day. You can think about what it is that you want for yourself, and it just turns out not always being what you think it's gonna be. So there's a quote that says something along the lines of control what you can and surrender what you can't. And ever since I started living by this, my life has improved, and I've been much happier too and at peace, because I know within myself that despite whatever happens, I'm content and I'm gonna work through it, and everything's gonna be good at the end of the day. And the thing is too, I believe everything happens for a reason, and everything's gonna fall into place when it needs to. But that is it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can stay tuned for my upcoming Talk with Ty Tuesdays, and check out my other videos as well. I have a whole playlist on my channel for different topics that I've spoke about, so if you're interested, go and check those out. Send this video to somebody that you feel may find it useful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
Look at the streets, you are not my mate. If you become a chef, not be head of state. But my people then go say, I know one buy, I know one die.